Morning YouTubers. So this is the line 6. I mentioned on a previous video that this knob here that lives there, which is that, was loose, rattling around. That's connected to, or it's supposed to be mounted to this bit here, but if you see, the contacts on the inside look like they've been bent up, and the bit that holds it in place are all bent. Now, the drama I'm having with this, the reason I pulled it apart is when it's cranked, when it's loud, it all starts vibrating because this thing's not connected to that properly. This rattles around and it just jumps through loads and loads of different settings because that's the preset thing. So I'm going to try to attach it back where it lives. So what I'm going to do is try to attach it back here where it lives. If not, then I'll just not use it because I've already got saved in some nice tones that I like. And yeah, let's see how we get on with this. As you can see, it's just pure witchcraft in here. I don't know how it does what it does, but it does sound good. I'll try to bend back some of the little contacts here, but they're very, very thin. They're like whiskers or hairs, and one of them unfortunately snapped. I don't know if this means it's not going to work, but I'm not too sure. That's the bit now in position now where it works, that turny switch thing, but you see the sides here, it's like these little bits of metal that clamp, looks like they've snapped off at the top. So what I need to do next is push them onto it, and I'm going to try and use a little bit of solder on each of the 4 corners to hold it rigidly into place. So even if sort of like, if because of that little tiny whisker contact on the inside snapped off, because this worked when it was not attached, just rattling around, it's not going to start jumping through the channels and adding crazy effects as I play, so should work. So I've managed to bend those little 2 springy things back into there where they sit, but because some of the ends were snapped off, I mean, it does feel quite, you know, it's on there pretty snug, but I'm still gonna put a little bit of solder on each one. That way it should never come off. While I'm waiting for my soldering iron to heat up, these types of amps, these modelling amps that, do all sorts of crazy stuff. And you look inside there, it's like it's a computer. There's all sorts going on inside, and to be honest, it only takes, maybe one of these weird circuit things, or like these bits to fail, and the whole thing's knackered. And yeah, but it does sound really good. I mean, when you open up the back of a tube amp, it's everything inside's massive. There's plenty of room to work. You can clearly see the circuit looks very, very simple on the back. Yeah, but these are just on another level of witchcraft and science that I can't explain, and I have no idea how it does what it does. Anyway, I'm gonna stick this on. The drama I've got here as well is I've got my super thick solder. I can't find my really thin stuff, which is annoying, so it's going to have big dollops on it. I mean, as long as the solder doesn't touch anything else but just here, should be okay, because that's a metal to metal contact anyway, and all the solder's going to do is, hold it in place. Right, there we go. Some dollops of solder on this one. I got some in that side there, but I couldn't fit the soldering iron in this gap because I was using the really thick stuff, but it is on. It's sort of spinning around like it's supposed to. Yeah, guess we'll see if it's worked when I put it all back together. Right, so I've got it all back together. Well, pretty much. Everything's where it's supposed to be now. This is, you know, feels like it's actually clicking around and doing what it's supposed to be doing. It feels pretty solid. So I'm thinking now, what I might have a crack at, because I've already got the back open, is modify it like I did my Boss Katana 50 watt. Well, it's an amazing sounding amp, but I put a switchable jack cable in the back connected to the speaker output, so I could jack in at the back and run it through a cab. Now I've got a 4x12 PV and I've got a 2x12 and I've got a 2x12 Bagura, so yeah, I might as well while I'm in the back. It's just a simple, it's just drill a hole, fit the plug, connect the wires, and because it's a switchable jack, you know, when you plug in, it cuts the power going to the amp speakers and sends it to the cab. And when you unplug, it just goes, it works normally from, you know, here straight to the speakers. Right, so it's all back together again. I've got all the knobs back on it. You can see now how this bit's been snapped off. You can see it's actually bent. So at some point in its life, it's took a massive knock. It's probably not ideal, to be honest, having something like that sticking out on the front, and it's quite flimsy. And it's obviously snapped it off on the back. But yeah, I think while I've got it like this now, it's on with the speaker out mod. So I'm going to leave the modification for now, the speaker out to run it through the cab. Reason being is I don't have the small spade connectors. I've run out. I want to try and do it without soldering and just use a bit of heat shrink, so it's, you know, if it doesn't work, it's very easy to undo. It's just a case of pulling it all off again. So I think the main thing is just to get it back together, turn it on and see whether this little fix here has been successful. I hope so, because it's this little knob here that if you decide to add an effect, any of these to your tone you got dialed in, so see here where it says, for example, gain 1. So when you select the gain, this one flicks through lots of different drives, fuzzies, overdrives, all this sort of stuff, and it's the same for the rest of them. You know, here we've got the delays and reverbs, so we can assign different delays, different, you know, different reverbs, different echoes, and different modulations here. Yeah, let's put it back together. Good morning, YouTubers. Yeah, no, in fact I've already said good morning, haven't I? Yeah, it's the same video. Anyway, so line 6 is back together, and I guess the thing you want to know, did it work? Of course it didn't. I've got no idea what I'm doing. But what it stopped doing now is, so when I crank it now, it no longer rattles the, it doesn't rattle this knob that was loose and starts going through all the different, through all the different effects and stuff, making it sound very weird, like some sort of like in space or something. Now, I don't normally use modulations, delays and these sort of things. I do like a bit of reverb, but that's about it. So, because this is a modelling amp, oh, okay, we're doing this, are we? Yeah. Because it's a modelling amp, once you've dialed in something and you're using like the computer stuff inside the amp, it doesn't like pedals. This definitely doesn't take pedals very well. So what I need to do, because I like the sound of the blues driver and the super overdrive, is I just need something very, very clean. Something very, very clean on the Something very clean to start with on this, and then tweak just a clean thing so it'll accept the pedal saw. That's the sound of the amp's making without any that's the sound the Line 6 Spider's making without any effects added in. To be honest, it does sound okay, but I do want a bit of reverb. Yeah, that'll do. Now, because this isn't actually working anymore, I can't actually select the different kinds of reverbs. So unfortunately, its default setting for this is plate. Which, yeah, it's reverb nonetheless. Oh, again?
Yeah.
How many of these are going to eat? All of them?
No.
Okay.
I need second.
Alright, okay.
Second one.
So now, yeah. So I've got the amount of reverb I want. Now I need to just a little tiny bit of bass. I don't want too much. Mids and trebles. So I normally set the mid around let's have a 12 o'clock. So it'd be more like 10 o'clock, and then my treble is sort of like 1-2 o'clock ish on the dial. Considering it is a modelling amp and it's just using its very basic Line 6 clean, you know, tweaking with the mids and the treble, it's does sound really nice. I like it anyway. So next job now is, how is it going to sound now? Let's try. Now the wah pedal works fine, which is cool. Now I just need to sort of dial in the overdrive to give me that bit of too bad. So it's without, and it's with.
A green and red one.
You're joking me. A green and red one.
Yeah.
Right.
Green and red one.
Oh, okay. Same again now on the blues driver. That's it. It's the amp making the noise. The only thing I don't want to do, to be fair, no, I'll leave that as is. So I'm using both of these drivers the same as I think Stevie Ray Vaughan did. So he had the level, so he had the drive of the pedal on 0, but he had the level cranked to the max. It's the same on the overdrive and the blues driver. There's a little bit too much reverb there because the blues driver's really yeah. That does sound awesome. Right, let me turn that down for now, just kick that off. Right, so as awesome as a modelling amp it is, I'm not using it as a modelling amp because this bit's broke. I can't change any of the effects and whatnot, but what I will do is now save that to D, like that. Go. So channel D now is going to be my default clean channel that I can run the pedals through. Long-winded video, do apologise, but yeah, this is where I'm at the minute. So the plan later on today is have another look at the PV, try to figure that out. Yeah, and I'll let you know how I get on with that. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.